Hey, what's up? It's me, your girl, Cringy. So, I'm pretty sure you know how this is gonna go already. My final Palaye story. The sixth story of me meeting Palaye. This concert was December 2nd in Pomona. I don't remember the exact venue, but I know it was in Pomona and on December 2nd. This one my mother took me to, and again I had VIP. So I wanted to get there early, so I got there early. Met my friends, my Palaye friends, again. And this time around, I ended up posting on Twitter, hey, if anyone wants a kazoo, ask me for a kazoo if you see me at the concert. And a couple people responded, and I had so many kazoos, I literally gave them out to like everyone who wanted one, which was most of the people, and I told them to play the kazoo during teenagers. And me and my friends did it. I couldn't really tell if anyone else did because I was towards the front. But yeah, pretty much the whole song, Teenagers, I was playing the kazoo and jumping up and down. I don't even know if Palaye noticed, but I had fun, so that's all that matters. But after I gave everyone a kazoo, like, we were listening to music, and we could hear their practice going on for rehearsals. So come around to the VIP. This time around, I decided to give them presents. I gave Sebastian a Harry Styles bracelet / hair tie thing from the Harry Styles concert that I went to earlier that year. I gave Remington a 21 Pilots bracelet from Hot Topic and a One Direction bracelet that I got from a One Direction concert in like 2014. Then I decided to give Emerson this tiny Eiffel Tower thing that I had, that I literally used it for nothing. It was kind of just sitting in my room collecting dust. Kind of like a little cool trinket. It was literally from a mall. It had like no sentimental to it. So I'm in line, like waiting to meet them. And every time I see Palaye, Sebastian always gives me this look like he remembers me. But I don't want to be that like one fan who's like, oh, do you remember me? And then like either have to lie to me or say yes because I annoy the shit out of them so much. Well, Sebastian also follows me on Twitter. He followed me the day after the El Rey concert, and I ended up rolling around on the floor, squealing, breaking my sunglasses. Yeah, I had a fangirl attack. Oh, and Sebastian also knew that I threw up at that concert as well, because I posted a video on Twitter, like, saying that I had a lot of fun, and that if you don't get the chance to meet Palaye, you eventually will. And since I mentioned that I threw up in that same day, he followed me. He saw that video and commented, "Love this," on his account. And I'm like, oh fuck, Sebastian, like, I didn't even tag you. You weren't supposed to see that. But he saw it anyway, so now he knows that I threw up after his concert. That's great. That also just reminded me of the blonde chick. She was at this concert and at the El Rey. Not a lot of stuff happened at the El Rey. That was like my second time seeing her. But at this concert, she ended up pushing two of my friends off the barricade, going like this with her arms, with her purse in front of her over the barricade, and the security kept on telling her to take her bag away because it wasn't supposed to be on the other side of the barricade. But she didn't listen. And she did that at the YouTube space as well. Like, same thing with the bag. Like, her bag was on the stage, though, at the YouTube space. Like, almost the whole time. Until they performed. So I was like, okay. So she wasn't listening to security. And wasn't following the rules, but she didn't get kicked out. She got kicked out at the San Francisco show, I believe. At the San Francisco show, she ended up making my friend have a panic attack, and my friend blacked out for a bit. And then they started arguing, and then Remington stopped the show and had to kick her out. So, some of the Royal Council, more so in California than other places, know about this woman, because she usually goes to the California shows, but I know she has gone to Las Vegas shows and other states as well. She still wasn't smiling, but back to the VIP. So it was VIP, and I was waiting in line to meet them, and I ended up dropping Emerson's mini Eiffel Tower, and I felt really bad because I didn't notice that I broke one of the legs on it until I gave it to him. So when I gave it to him, I like turned it around and was like, there you go, Emerson. And he's like, oh, thank you. So he didn't know that the leg was broken, which was kind of funny. And when I gave Sebastian his hair tie / bracelet, he had a mini fangirl attack and was like, wait, so this is from his actual merch? And I told him yes, and he's like, oh, thank you. Like, I love him. And I'm like, I know. That's why I gave it to you. And then I gave Remington his 2 bracelets, and I was like, oh, here's a 21 Pilots bracelet that's literally from Hot Topic. And then I was like, and here's the One Direction bracelet. And he's like, oh, yes. And I'm like, wait, don't fanboy yet. I'm like, are you ready for this? That bracelet is from an actual One Direction concert that I went to in 2014. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no. And he literally stood up, like, slammed his hands on the table, and he's like, you're serious? And I was like, yes. And he's like, come here. And he, like, pulled me into a hug over the table and was like, you get me. And he's like, you get me so much. And he's like, thank you. Like, I love this. And it was just adorable. And my friend who was in front of me ended up giving Emerson a drumstick to sign that was one of Emerson's drumsticks that she caught at a different show. And he pretty much was like, oh my god. And he's like, I know this is a lot to ask, but can I use this for the show tonight? Because I'm, like, running low on drumsticks. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. And he's like, I promise you I'll give it back to you. So the show happened. It was really nice. We thought that he threw the drumstick into the crowd. Pretty much he didn't, but I'll get to that. What he did was put it to the side, and my friend had to leave. So I stayed there with my other friend for quite some time looking for Emerson to tell him about the drumstick. And the first one I saw was Sebastian walking out with Larissa. So I met Larissa and, like, talked to her for a bit. And then I told Sebastian, I'm like, oh, your brother took my friend's drumstick to play for the show that was his drumstick originally, but she caught it at another show, but he had to use it for the show tonight, and, like, we think he threw it into the crowd or did something with it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he walked off with Larissa, which was really funny. We were like, oh, okay. He obviously just wants to, like, not deal with that. And then we saw Remington, and we told Remington, and Remington was also wearing, like, my friend who was missing the drumstick, she also gave him a shirt to wear, a Rolling Stones t-shirt. that he ended up wearing in Australia, and along with the One Direction bracelet and 21 Pilots bracelet that I gave him, which was really cool. So Remington said he would wear that t-shirt after the show, and he did. But sadly, she wasn't there to see it. But we talked to him and told him the situation. He's like, okay, like, Emerson's busy inside, so I guess I'll, like, go, and, like, I'll bring you guys to the bus, and I'll get you guys something off the bus. And then he disappeared. And then he reappeared and got into a car. So that's fun. And I also met his girlfriend Monica that night, and I didn't really like her at the time. I'm kind of iffy about her because she was kind of bitchy to me when I met her at the YouTube space, but who knows, maybe she was having a bad day. Like, I understand that. But this time around she was really nice, but like I still don't know her, so I'm kind of like iffy about her. But she was really nice the second time I met her, and me and my friend had to tell her where the bus was because she didn't know, which was funny. But eventually Emerson came back out, and he was taking pictures of fans, and I was like, Emerson, wait. And he's like, yeah. And he turned around because I sounded worried, so he kind of turned around and was like, yeah, in like a worried expression. And I'm like, you still have my friend's drumstick. And then like you could just see the expression change in his face, and he's like, oh my god, I am so sorry. Like, I promise you I didn't throw it into the crowd. I still have your stick. And then he's like, wait, like, is she here? And I was like, no, she left. And then he was like, oh, here, like, take this artwork instead, because I don't know where the drumstick went. And I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'll give it to her. And I was like, here, like, want to make a video for her since she isn't here? And he's like, yes, please. So after the video, like, we hugged him goodbye, and like he went back on the bus, and then eventually was gonna come back out to take pictures, but this time my mom was really tired, so she told me we had to go. So we ended up leaving and had a magical conversation almost the whole ride home about Palaye, and just bopped to Palaye because my mom's a big Palaye fan as well. So much to the fact that she ended up asking Sebastian, she's like, am I too old to be a soldier of the Royal Council? And Sebastian was like, oh no, God no, like, you're wonderful. Because, you know, like, they love mothers. Like, it's really funny, like, their relationship with, like, the moms. So that was the story of the 6th time that I've met Palaye, and sadly the final story. I hope that I will meet them again. If they have an upcoming date, I'm hoping to go to that. If they end up on the Warped Tour lineup, I'm hoping to meet them again. Hope you enjoyed all my stories, if you even stayed that long. Who knows, I'm a rather boring person most of the time. But hope to see you soon. Okay, bye.